Two thumbs up. Yay. Okay. Hi, Colette. I want everyone, if they're chiming in, to say hello in the chat, either if you're on YouTube or the Facebook group, either one, just say hello. And of course, questions are welcome. So bring your questions. I can multitask pretty well, so I'm going to try to do both at the same time. But sometimes when I'm on a thought, I might skip your question or something like that. So I'm going to try my best. And grab a notebook if you have a notebook, and always water. I love my water. So grab water and a notebook. We're probably going to spend maybe about 45 minutes together. And this is a fun topic for me because it's all about like the habits and routines that will literally change your life, literally change your your future, your holidays, especially because of the stress. And I just feel we get so overwhelmed with things coming up that it's hard to stick and stay in a routine. But please say hello if you're chiming in from either page on YouTube or Facebook. And if you see me looking different directions, that's probably why. I also have my handy dandy notebook that I bring around with me everywhere. And I just want to give a little intro on myself for those of you who haven't met me yet. My name is Laura Madrano. I'm in Southern California, and I am a holistic health coach. And I say holistic with a W because it's the whole entire piece of the pie. When people say, just diet or just mental health or just emotions, I'm like, you know what? It takes just about everything. So I teach kids and adults nutrition, gardening, farming, and also health and wellness classes for mental health and emotional health. So yes, that's my expertise. And then I'm also a Reiki master, which is just a Japanese method of energy healing. I incorporate that into my business, into my life. It's helped me tremendously. It is Eastern medicine. And I'm a big fan. And Morgan and I have exchanged services in the past when she used to live out here in California. She took my level 1 Reiki practitioner class, and I traded her with some personal training. So yes, we exchanged services before, and that's how we got to know each other really well. And then I'm also a microgreen farmer. So I have an indoor farm that I grow microgreens. I love everything healing with food. So when it comes to the food thing, like that's my jam. I love cooking. I love the homestead, everything from scratch, everything from nature, everything from earth. And it's always been an interest to me, but I think more that it came about was when I had my son. He's 12 years old now. So when I was pregnant, I realized, like, what am I putting into my body? Like, what's going on here? And then once I had him, it was like, I'm not going to go buy store-bought baby food. I'm going to make my own baby food. So that's kind of like how the whole thing started 12 plus years ago. And I've just kind of gone down the rabbit trails from there, especially with food. But then fast forward maybe 5 years or so, 2017, I had another major breakthrough where I was torn up from a breakup. And so that was hard on me. And I just think I had a little bit of an epiphany that my habits were not as solid as they should be. And it had to do with me. It had nothing to do with anybody else. And so what was I going to do to change my world and my future was start with my habits, start with what I was doing wrong and shifting my mindset there. So first I'd like to say, what is a habit? I mean, a habit is an unconscious pattern that is on repetition. So we are just going about our daily life and we don't even realize that it's habitual, that we are just doing things because that's what we've been doing our whole entire lives. And I'm here to break and release some of those old patterns for you all, that maybe we can just let those go and we can start incorporating new patterns. Because when we let go of things, guess what? New things come into our life, new things come into our world. But we have to let go of the old first. So getting those out of the way, and if they're not serving us, if they're not showing us a purpose, for us to have momentum to move forward, then why are we doing this? Why are we holding on? Why do we think it's okay just because it's a habit? And I also just, my intention is to show you how to be the best version of yourself. Like, I love, love when everyone can just be their authentic self. There's no like, you have to be like this and you have to fit this mold. And just because you see it on TV or just because you see it on social media, that means nothing to me. Like, what is the best version of you? Right? So let's get into it. If you printed up that PDF I posted in the group, it's just a simple with the very first step. It's just a simple PDF that is all about our routines. So the number one habit is our morning and night routine. What does that look like for you? What are we doing in those first 30 minutes of us waking up and the last 30 minutes of us going to bed? I look at it like bookends. They're bookends of like, everything else can happen in the middle, but it's how you start the day is going to progress from there. And my very first tip is getting outside and getting natural sunlight. Even if it's overcast, even if it's not pretty outside, getting outside, and I say sky before screens. So instead of reaching for your phone, putting that away, going outside and just getting our circadian rhythm like adjusted to the natural sunlight that's coming through, and just taking that moment, taking that, that breath. Sometimes we don't have a lot of time in the morning. We have kids, we have a family, we have work, we have things to do, and we're like, go, 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 go. But we're not setting ourselves up for success if we're not getting outside and just really tuning in to that sunlight and just taking a moment to breathe, even meditate. And when I say meditate, I mean taking 5 minutes for yourself, just 5 minutes. And it's how you set up your day is going to go throughout the day, and it's going to be how you end your day. Because have you ever noticed when things go terribly wrong, it spirals from there and it only gets worse? So let's set up our day so that it only gets better. I also recommend journaling. Journaling is huge for me. I have a ton of journals. I'm not always in the mood for journaling though, and that's where, like, I tell people it's okay. You don't have to do this every morning, but it's just something to think about it. If it calls you, if it excites you, then journal. If you want to meditate, then do that. If you want to get outside, get sunlight, if you want to go exercise, do that. It's like, and the routine doesn't always have to be exactly the same day after day. Sometimes you can get where you're just not feeling like doing that anymore in the morning. So maybe even shifting to what excites you. It's never a one size fits all either. So what works for you doesn't mean it works for your friend or it works for me. But just doing those things that are not going to be giving your energy into social media, into the world's problems, into your own problems. Just taking that moment to take a deep breath is like huge. So that PDF that you could print it out later if you wanted to as well. It's just basically stating what your morning routine and what your evening routine ideally looks like to you. So no right or wrong answers. It's just to help you get something out there that maybe you're feeling called to, something that excites you. I always say follow your excitement. So, because if it's not fun, I don't want to do it either. Like, this is not force-fed information. It's really tuning into your intuition and your own inner guidance and what feels right and resonates for you. So moving on to the second one. The second one, of course, is my specialty. It is your diet. Food can either be medicine or it can be poison. And we are surrounded by convenient processed foods, and it's really disturbing because it's on every street corner, and we're in a hurry, in a rush to get to our job, to do all the things that we have to do throughout our day, and we're putting our diet on the back burner, which is kind of a bummer. So really taking the time out to think about what your diet looks like, and even taking a day to maybe meal prep, or even support a local business that does meal prepping. If you're too busy to even cook your own food, why don't you support somebody who's willing to do that for you? Instead of just like waiting until you're starving and then you're going to rush to get something that's convenient that is just horrible for you. So I'm big on eating clean, reading labels, minimal ingredients. When I'm cooking, I'm making things that I already have in the kitchen or the pantry. Like, yes, of course, I go to the store and the markets and get my food, but a lot of the times, if I don't have a certain ingredient, it's okay. I just use what I have. That's the fun part about making food, and it's not fun for everybody, so I understand that. But why not exchange or barter those type of items? Just like I said, support somebody who's local, who is like food or meal prepping for you. I just feel like in today's world, we're so disconnected from our food, and our food is literally like our source energy. Like, as far as like even microgreens, I brought a little show and tell. We got some wheatgrass here. So wheatgrass, we grow from the seed indoors, and then I juice on the weekly wheatgrass. Wheatgrass is literally condensed sunlight. So you're putting chlorophyll into your body. You're literally consuming like pure source energy. It is the number one highest vibrational food. And like I said, maybe you don't want to grow this, which is perfectly okay. But since I grow it, I'll, give you a shot. I'll sell you shots of wheatgrass, and we can always exchange for something, some service that you may do that I'm not so good at. So that's the way I try to look at things, that our specialties are gifts, whatever it is. Like, let's shine a light on that, and let's excel on that, because this world is meant to be like where we are in community, where we're working together, where we're exchanging each other's amazing talents, services, gifts. Like, it makes perfect sense. Yeah, so I think Morgan says she loves wheatgrass. It does have an earthy taste. It does. It's kind of unique, but man, it just feels so good. It feels like you're fueling up your body. Like, it just feels so good. Like, it's just coming alive. I tell people that don't really like it, like, sometimes I'll juice it with a cucumber or an apple, just to kind of take the edge off. So, and then you build your way up, right? And then you just go straight wheatgrass after a while. So, love my wheatgrass. Another helpful tip with your diet is protein first. Protein is your first meal. Stop consuming sugar and carbs as like your very first thing that you're putting in your body. You're spiking your blood sugar levels. Like, your body is not happy with that. So protein first. And also, I'm big on intuitive eating. Like, just because it works for somebody else doesn't mean it works for you. So once again, I'm big on just like, well, how did that make you feel after you ate something? Like, you have to tune into your own body. Your body has the answers. So nobody else, can sit there and tell you. I mean, of course, there's lovely advice and doctors out there that will give you so much nutritional, guidance. But what it comes down to is like, how does it make you feel? How do you feel at the end of the day after you just consumed whatever it is that you ate? So, and then also just being mindful in reading labels. Reading labels is huge. When you can't pronounce all of those ingredients, then it's probably not good for you. And it is harder, like when you're going out to eat at restaurants. And that's why, like, I cook a lot at home. But when you are eating out, just being mindful, and maybe even asking, like, what kind of oil do they use? There's a lot more restaurants up and coming that are going to be more mindful of their ingredients, farm to table, that type of thing. I think it's just, it's expanding more and more and more. So that was the number 2, was all about your diet. Number 3 is fun. Number 3 is decluttering and organizing. Who here feels like the need to just get rid of everything? Yeah, like, even when you just have that urge to just purge, right? Like, it just, you just want to get rid of it. because you're making room for something new to come in. And also, when you're decluttering, when your house is a wreck, how can you relax? How can your nervous system just feel at ease and at peace? How could you sit and do work? It's hard. I mean, it's a hard task for me. I don't know about you all, but I just feel like that's difficult when your house is full of clutter. So, like, get rid of the garbage. Have you ever heard of Maria? What is her name? Maria Kondo. Like, if it doesn't bring you joy, then it's gone. It's out of here. And just because it's something you've held on to, like, for years and years and years, I understand, like mementos and things like that and family heirlooms. I understand that. But if it's just something that's collecting dust, it's literally like taxing your energy. And it just brings such a lower vibration to things around your home. So decluttering is fun. I mean, how much you heard that with nesting with, any ladies that are pregnant, like when you're nesting, you're getting ready for baby. So you are like getting rid of the old and you're settling into the new. And I just think it's such a beautiful moment that happens naturally. And it also just relieves so much stress. So if you haven't heard of Marie Kondo, look her up. I even think she has a show on Netflix, like just getting rid of so much. Like, I try to be kind of a minimalist, and there's certain things that I like more or less than others, and same with anybody else. I understand. Like, what if it's important to you, hang on to it. But if it really doesn't serve you, there's really no meaning behind it, it's time to let it go. It's time to get it out of here because we have to make room for the new stuff to come in. And then also everything, this just kind of goes, piggybacking off of that, is that everything is in a cycle. So when people are like, oh my gosh, I have the whole house to clean, like I can't, guess what? It's really never done. So if you look at it as it's always in a cycle, you just have to understand where you are in that cycle. So let's just say dishes, for example. Oh yeah, the dishes are done, right? Don't you think there's incoming of dirty dishes like right around the corner? And I hate to break it to you, but yes. So why not think that everything is just in a cycle? Yay, I'm in the cycle of the dishes are done, but in the next moment there's going to be incoming dishes. So just giving yourself a break in between every part of the cycle. Like there's no need to be like, oh my gosh, I'm complete with laundry. Laundry is all done. I never have to see it again. You probably do in a matter of time. So just depends on, how many family members you have in your household. But everything is in a cycle. So giving yourself a little bit more compassion there, and just realizing that since it's in a cycle, that it's okay. Like I know we want to check off all the boxes and just get our, to-do list done, but sometimes it's just the cycle of it, and it's just the nature of it. So yes, that was number 3. Number 4 is a good one too. I think they're all good ones. Number 4 is the people you surround yourself with. Haven't we heard that one before? Like you are the 5 people that you surround yourself with. And some of the people, I mean, like, let's just be honest. I don't fluff, I don't sugarcoat. So sometimes it could be a family member. Sometimes it could be something like where like you don't really have a choice. It's gonna be the person that is around you. But just being more mindful that there are other people that we can pick and choose to be around us. They say like you are the vibe of your tribe. You are the medium of that 5 people you surround yourself with. And so why be like the very top of that pillar? Why not be somewhere where we can learn and grow? So I mean there's different ways to look at it of like where you are in that of the 5 people. And if you just think about 5 most people that you talk to on the daily that are, around you. And a lot of times it is in your family because it's in your household. And then others are, you get to choose. And you also get to say no. And I know that's hard for my people pleasing friends. And I've been there before too. So it's okay to say no and set boundaries. And that could be a whole nother topic. But when you're saying no to other people, you're actually saying yes to yourself. And I think we are getting into a space where we understand that it's okay to say no. And I just really want to share that with people, that give yourself permission to say no. And we always worry about what everybody else thinks, what they're going to say, how they're going to respond. And let's cut out that crap and just learn to say no, because it's saying yes to us. It's conserving our energy. Sometimes it's just not worth expelling our energy like that. Like, let's just say no, and it's okay to shut down, close down for a little bit. That's like, hibernation. It's like anything natural. We need our sleep, it's okay to not expand ourselves. Yes, we are the Raise Your Vibe tribe, coming soon. Yeah, we'll share more about that. That is coming soon. And I love that. I love the Raise Your Vibe tribe. That's my mission. That's my mission in life, because I've also felt the other side of things, and I know exactly why that happened when it happened, is so that I can teach and know what it's like to be in that situation. And yeah, it's not fun, and nobody wants to be there. And it doesn't mean that everything is all perfect and roses and everything. Now it just means that you know how to navigate. You have the tools, you have the knowledge, and like when things are gonna come at you, you ain't gonna let it get you down. So moving on to number 5. We're at number 5. Yes. This one is good for now. This is very relevant for right now at this time. The media you consume. Yes. We're on social media. We're on all of those websites and pages. And, it's like the news is on. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's all external. That's all outside. That has nothing to do with what's going on the inner. But it hurts the inner. So it's like being mindful of all the media that's going on. Like, are you taking on that energy? Like, the monotone of the news that you were just listening to for 30 minutes, don't you think that does something to your brain? It's at a frequency that is not desirable. We can talk about that too, because we are all frequencies. The earth is on a frequency. I mean, everything that we're doing, the music we listen to. Have you ever thought about that? The music we listen to, they're all on different frequencies. Makes sense? Just like a radio antenna, AM, FM, old school. I'm going to bring it back. But yeah, we're all on a frequency. So after listening to certain types of music, do you feel a certain type of way? Right before this call, yeah, she says the gym kills her, because they probably have a playlist that is not suitable for actually like repairing your DNA, actually, assisting your cells in, the workout that you're doing. So it's almost a disservice. Yes. So I was going to say something about the, the frequency of music and how you feel afterwards. It's like, you don't even have to know what frequency it resonates on. That's just a number. How does it make you feel? Once again, going back to the feeling part, right? How does that music make you feel? I know a little experiment. I'll share it with you really quick. A practitioner friend of mine had a son who had massive headaches all the time, just headaches and complaining about headaches. Well, he was listening to music that was like that, like I don't even know, like that old rock music. I sound so old when I talk like this. Like Pantera, Metallica, like that type of music. And like, I don't want to, I just name names, but but that style of music. And then he had him take a sample of his spit on a like alkaline tab to see where he's at in his pH levels in his body. And after he was listening to that music, he was highly acidic. Then he gave him 2 hours of calming classical music. And then he made him spit on the tab again to test his alkaline levels. And he came down 2 whole numbers just from 2 hours listening to classical music. So I'm sorry, but frequency, like, yes. So it does depend on what music you're listening to. Um, what media you're consuming, what you're watching. You can eat all like the healthy foods you want, but if you're not doing all these other things, that's why I call it whole body wellness with a W. Like it's holistic with a W. Yes. So those type of things, like they're real. They happen. Maybe we don't see it because it's not a tangible object that we can hold in our hands, but if you feel it, I think that says something in itself. So yeah, even like the water we drink, there's different frequencies of water we drink. Just like, haven't you seen the alkaline levels of water, like when they're being sold in stores? And we have a water filtration system, which I'm a big fan of because it removes the chlorine and the fluoride, but it keeps all the good minerals in there. So I've learned a lot about water because my husband's a plumber. So it just kind of goes hand in hand that he's taught me so much. I had no idea like water was so different and like bottled water. Yeah. So it's not that good for you. And especially if it's just like in a plastic bottle that's been sitting on a shelf exposed to sunlight and heat. And it's just glorified tap water. Sometimes they remove all the chemicals, including the good minerals. So you're not even getting hydrated. Haven't you ever drank water and you're still thirsty afterwards? You're like, how come I can't feel hydrated? Think about the water you're drinking. My solution to that, because I love my solutions. So my solution to that is alkaline water is great. Spring water, like spring mountain water, is wonderful, and so is filtered water. I know a lot of people talk about RO water with reverse osmosis systems in their house, but that extracts everything, including everything good. So you might want to put like a pinch of Celtic sea salt or something like that to replenish your minerals in the water. That's just a little suggestion, little tip. So yes, um, it's really like, yeah, it's everything that you consume, whether it's media, whether it's food, whether it's news, whether it's friends, whether it's, it's everything. So think about that one too. That was number 5. Number 6 is my favorite. Well, they're all my favorite. Number 6 is one of my favorites. Getting outside and connecting with nature. So I kind of paired this up with exercising because I mean, exercise is just kind of a given, but I wanted to bring the two together because we are not meant to sit indoors staring at a screen for 8 hours a day in 4 walls. That is like doing such a disservice for our soul. For yeah, like our mental, emotional, and physical body. It's just like we're not meant to do that. Getting outside, getting barefoot and connecting, with the ground. I know it sounds like so hippy dippy, but there is something there. We're like magnets. And we're tethered down to the ground, which is like an electricity, like magnetic pull to the earth. So when you're being barefoot, you're moving those ions throughout your whole entire body from the sun. The sun is like your energy, and you're really connecting yourself down into the earth. So the other day I had a 10-hour farmer's market out in the sun. It was a long day, and I literally took my shoes off. And I was in the dirt and the grass, and it felt like I instantly felt better. I was like, why am I wearing shoes? Like, it just made so much sense to me. And I took my shoes off, and I was barefoot for the rest of the day. And like, I felt great. Like it was medicine. So getting outside, and yeah, we're like, I just feel like the world today, without getting into too much there, is like it's not set up for success of our physical, mental, and emotional bodies. It's meant to kind of cut off that source that we have and that connection that we have to our higher power. Let's just say that. I mean, to anything that's like meant for our soul. So getting outside, connecting with nature, exercising, and grounding. And I love, okay, so I'm not the biggest fan of exercise. That's why I had Morgan help me out with the training, because that was her specialty. But I like it when it's fun. So I'm always changing up my exercise routine. I'm never sticking with the same thing. Like right now, I'm really into cycle class, and it's so much fun because it's like party on a bike. If it's not fun, I don't want to do it. So they play good music. I'm just go, 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 go. I'm sweating. We lift some weights, and it's like, bam, the hour's over. So I always say, like, change up your exercise routine to whatever's exciting. Like if it feels like torture, then maybe that's not the one for you. Find something that's exciting, because I promise there's something out there that's exciting. So especially with exercise, and then just being outside, being with nature, getting quiet in nature. So this is another thing that kind of drives me crazy. And I'm guilty of it too. So, let's just say that my disclaimer is that when people are outside and they're listening to their headphones, I'm listening to like a podcast, I get it, or like music while there's traffic, if there's a lot of cars. But if I'm out in the middle of nowhere, if I'm out in the wilderness, I want to get quiet and listen to nature. I don't want to hear the birds. I want to hear the water. I want to hear like anything that's just happening, like the crinkling of the leaves. I want to hear all of that. So I'm going to toss out like anything to do with like my phone or listening to music. I want to listen to nature. And when you listen to nature, guess what? That's when you get answers. That's when the information comes in. That's how you listen to your intuition. People always say, I don't know how to listen to my intuition. I'm like, you have to get quiet first. And you have to spend a lot of time being quiet. So even now, and I say maybe because I'm, getting older, I'm like, turn off that music. I don't really like it, because I actually enjoy the quiet. Like I love the peace. I love just the sound of nothing. And yeah, you have to be alone with your thoughts. I mean, some people they don't want to face that, right? It's hard. That's hard. Because at first you're going to hear a lot of the screams, a lot of the ego coming out and just shouting at you and saying you're not good enough, I'm not worthy, blah, blah, blah. And the list goes on. But this class is not about that yet. So getting outside, getting in nature, getting quiet, and listening to your intuition. That is a huge new habit, routine that you should just think about doing, even if it's in small increments. So that was number 6. We're going to move on to number 7. Number 7, I feel like, is like one of the most important. And it kind of, I'm going to unpack this a little bit more. So the title of it is just thrown around so loosely everywhere. Everyone says, oh, self-care, got to do my self-care, whether it's like a bubble bath. And like, I'm like, no, you guys, like that's fun and dandy and all, getting a massage and getting your toes done or whatever. But that's like, it goes a lot deeper than that. And when I say deeper, I'm saying like healing your traumas and your wounds. So self-care has a lot to do with healing. It also, my biggest thing that it has to do with is soothing your nervous system. Like we are so triggered today by everything. Oh my God, what was that? And like we just react, and we don't give ourselves the time to sit and decompress and then respond. So self-care looks like, to me, it's soothing your nervous system, because your nervous system it's the control center of your whole entire body. When it's out of whack, that's when you get sick. That's when you have chronic stress. That's when you have like an impaired immune system. Like there's just, the list goes on and on when you're not soothing your nervous system. And I get it. Like it's responsible for so many things. And when you're in that fight or flight, that's when your nervous system like gets dysregulated, and and like let's just say back in the caveman days, that served us to be in that, because if a bear is chasing us, then of course we had to be in that fight or flight, and we had to get it done. But or get away. But nowadays, it's like, let's soothe our nervous system. Our nervous system is so out of whack. And I always say it's either fight or flight, and we're going to move it to rest and digest. That's when we can even digest our food properly, is when we're in that rest recovery state, rebooting. So there's so many ways that you can soothe your nervous system. And I have a list here, and I'm just gonna name a few. If you guys have any that you like to do, I would love to hear. I would love to hear the share. Um, I love breathing exercise. Literally just breathing. Like, we don't take deep enough breaths. We're like, we're on like ready, and it's not good for us. So taking that deep breath and just quieting our mind and just saying an affirmation, like, it's going to be okay. I am safe. I'm grounded. I'm protected. You can say so many things while taking that deep breath. And then I don't know if any of you guys have ever done tapping. Try tapping. And there's different methods to tapping, which I haven't gone deep into. But I know that if you say affirmations and you talk to yourself while you're tapping, it's pretty much like ingraining into your subconscious. So tapping is another method. You can tap, and it's just like, if you're having a moment of like overwork, overstress, oh my gosh, like overwhelm, then maybe try tapping. Placing your feet on the earth. That was, that goes with back to my nature thing, getting grounded with the earth. I automatically felt better. Like, the stress levels just went down, and I just felt at peace. Taking a cold shower. Has anyone here ever done a cold plunge? They're hard. It's not easy. Like in that 40 something degree cold ice bath. Dang. Yeah, it's that's not easy to do. But it's so good for you. Like, I automatically felt like a hit of dopamine, that happiness chemical. Like, I automatically felt something in me like shift. I was like, oh my gosh, like, am I on something? And it was completely natural. So, yeah, cold plunge is another way. And moving your body, moving that energy out. Like, when we're stagnant and we're like just sitting still, guess what? We're keeping all of that energy in. Oh, and Morgan says, I prefer the cryo chamber, which I've never tried. So you'll have to share more about that in one of your talks and your experiment or experience with that. So yes, and then another one of my favorites to do to soothe your nervous system is to sing and laugh. Like, I don't sing. I love laughing. It's just so healing. It's like, yeah, maybe sometimes I laugh at inappropriate situations, but like, I just feel like, guess what? Like, I'm bringing a different level of energy to that situation. And it's like, I embrace it. And like, laughing is so healing. Laughing is so good. It's so good for the soul. And like, even when I was younger, I used to like love watching comedians. And I used to think about like, gosh, like, that's something that's a gift, because they can make people laugh. And even at the inappropriate stuff, which I find absolutely hilarious. It's not for everybody, but it's like, why not? Like, give yourself permission to laugh. Like, why take life so seriously? It's already serious enough. Like, the universe, I don't think, is that serious. And I think we just tend to take it so seriously. It's like, let's loosen up, let's lighten up a little bit, and just have fun and laugh. So laughing is key. And prioritizing sleep. I don't like to stay up late anymore. Like, I just don't. And so I know there's a lot of people out there, probably, I don't know, I feel old when I say that. But I just love my sleep. I love getting to bed early. And it's like, it's really tuning into that circadian rhythm again, So just getting your sleep is like super important. Going to bed at like 9 o'clock just feels so good to me sometimes. It doesn't happen all the time, but just knowing, because you get your like deepest sleep like around 2 a.m. and it's just like, it just makes sense to me. When I don't get a good sleep, I don't function well the next day. So I'm not sure about you guys, but yeah, and I don't really sleep in anymore, but I do like taking those slow morning moments when I can get them. So just making sure that sleep is important and it's a priority is big time. Yes. So those wrap up my 7 habits and routines that'll literally like change your life if we focus on those. I do have a few runner ups and honorable mentions though, so just want to go over those super duper quick. And one of them is to slow down and be present. We're always worried about what we have to do next and where we have to go and all the things, and it's like, slow down. Like, the universe is not in a rush, we are. So slowing down, being present in whatever it is you're doing, whether it's washing the dishes, like, have a good time while you're washing the dishes in that moment. Like, make it the most exciting thing that you can possibly make it, because it just has to get done. And just being mindful, like, in the now, because yesterday and tomorrow really don't matter. It's right here, right now. So slowing down, and then letting go of what we can't control. Isn't that big time right now? Letting go of what is outside of us, because all we are is wasting our energy. We're just getting wrapped up, and it's like, you got to just surrender and let go of those attachments to outcome. So whether it's black or white, up or down, win or lose, like, we need to let go of all of that and find some new, like a neutral space, and just be okay with whatever it is, because that's outside of us. That's external. Let's work on the internal, the inside of us. And then the last one here is finding your purpose. That was a big struggle for me, many years, is finding my purpose. Like, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? Well, your purpose can change in a matter of, a day, a year, 5 years, 10 years. Your purpose can always change. It may not. And we're always searching for it. Guess what? It lives inside of us once again. And that's what I teach. I teach people how to find their own inner magic, because it's already there. There's no searching elsewhere for it. There's no going on a scavenger hunt. It's already there. And my biggest takeaway for finding your purpose is just following what excites you. If it's exciting to you, then do more of that. And if it's like a dull, mundane task, then maybe think about doing less, or handing it off to somebody else who would be better at it. That's okay too, giving yourself permission. But following whatever it is that brings you joy is key in finding your purpose. Your passion is for you. Your purpose is to help serve others. So, yes, that is big. And then listening to the no, like when it doesn't go your way, that maybe that's a higher power signaling something to you, that maybe it's just not in your time right now. Maybe there's a bigger purpose for you. Maybe there's a big picture for you that has nothing to do with why you're not getting what you want right then. Because the timing, yes, is not up to us. So listening to that and being thankful for that, because I've done that many years later, where I'm like, I'm so thankful that relationship didn't work out, even though I was so dang heartbroken over it, things like that. So being okay with the no when you're not getting exactly what you want right here, right now. Maybe there's a bigger reason. There is one book that I recommend hands down that has to do with this topic, is Dr. Joe Dispenza. If anyone has ever heard of him or listened to him, he's on YouTube too. He's got so many things that that help with your brain and your heart coherence. So coming together and just understanding the mind and how that all works, and energy. And he's very scientific, but he also brings into like the intuitive knowledge, which I love how he infuses that together. He has a book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, and that's what has to do with these habits. Like, let's get rid of the some of the ones that aren't serving us, that aren't good for us. So if you're interested in reading, I always have a book that goes in relation to a topic that I'm teaching. Also, if you want to work with me, I have that available as well. You can always message me. I do one-on-one coaching for health and wellness, anything like emotions, physical, like, I mean, really just about any piece of the pie that you want to work on. And I also do energy healing, which is my Reiki practitioner that I have one-on-one clients for that. And of course, if you're local, come and visit me at farmers markets, because we're always slinging our greens, trying to get people healthy and to just really get on board that we can be empowered to have the answers for ourselves. Because even like just with food, it's like, guess what? Grocery store ain't always selling the good stuff. You might want to grow it yourself. And if you don't want to grow it, then support your local farmers. So I'm big on that. And thank you so much for watching. Of course, I have the links in the description for anything that you're interested in, or you can message me on Facebook or on the Facebook or on my personal Facebook or Instagram. But thank you so much for watching. I hope that this really like just helps you kind of just get activated, get you tuned in to like making a little change at a time. I never say like this is something that you should do like overnight and expect, major results. Just start incorporating a little bit at a time. That's how we make change. So just giving yourself a little snippet. Yes. And then of course, if anybody has any questions, I'm here for questions too. So anything, habits, routines, really just like health and wellness related, like let's just start there. Like anything emotions, I'm big on, working on all that. So if anybody has any questions, I'd love to hear them. And let's get moving, guys. Literally and figuratively, like let's reduce those cortisol levels and start boosting ourselves up for greatness. So thank you so much for watching again. And let's see if there's anybody that has any questions. I'm trying to make sure that I'm not missing anything. Yes. Is there a question right now in the Facebook group that I don't see? Let me double check. That way I can make sure. Oh, see, and I don't think I got to see some of these. Was there something there? Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. Thank you. Great content. Thank you so much, Nicole. That was sweet. Yeah, and then I have Kelly here with sleep is a tough one. I can fall asleep but not stay asleep. Yes, I've struggled with that too. Insomnia at its finest, which sometimes is not fun. And I always say, like, check in with your doctor to make sure there's not anything like hormonally and other things that could be interrupting your sleep cycle. But sleep is tough right now. And I feel like there's so many energies coming into the planet, whether we know it or not, or we see it or not. Sometimes we just have to roll with it and it's okay. Like, but you got to rule out anything medically first. So yeah, that's tough. I prefer the chamber. Yes, that was Morgan preferring the chamber as far as doing the cold plunge, which I've never tried yet, is the chamber. And then I don't know if I'm missing anybody else because it's not allowing me to scroll down even more. So I think that wraps it up. But thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Don't hesitate to reach out to me if you have any questions. Of course, I'll be sharing more. I'm all about like the tips, tricks, and hacks and things that we can do to fix ourselves. Because bottom line, I can't stand a complainer. And I get it. Like, we all have that moment to cry and whine about something, but let's be proactive and have solutions. So I'm big on finding solutions and not leaving anybody hanging. I want you to feel secure and comfortable in the movement forward. So thanks again for watching. I appreciate all of you, and I hope you all have a beautiful day out there. Literally go outside, and if you don't have sunshine, that's okay, but just go outside and take a deep breath. That is just healing in its own. So have a wonderful day, and thank you so much, and I will see you again soon. Okay, bye.